Hello and welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. And I apologize for the little bit of technical difficulty I had there at the beginning of the episode. For those that don't know, I do a live show, and every once in a while, it's rare, but every once in a while that internet connection will get a little flaky on me. Well, today we continue on with Matthew chapter 5, and in today's passage, Jesus is doing something I guess some of us don't like him to do. Is maybe a good way to put it. He clarifies a commandment, and it applies to every single one of us, and something that we may unknowingly do on a daily basis. So today we're covering Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 and 22, which say, "You have heard that it was said to those of ancient times, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment.' But I say to you that if you are angry with a brother or sister, you will be liable to judgment. And if you insult a brother or sister, you will be liable to the council. And if you say, 'You fool,' you will be liable to hellfire." So these are pretty intense words of Jesus. So he's talking to his disciples, and the Pharisees are going around teaching the law, saying, "Don't murder." But there was an Aramaic term called raka, which means, it's an Aramaic curse term. So, pretty much you're a fool, you're stupid. And there was kind of an exception for that. So you can go around calling, insulting people, and, it was, I don't want to say it wasn't a big deal, but it was exempt from the law, so to speak. Jesus says, no. Sorry. You're wrong. If you call someone a fool, if you hurt their character, if you gossip about them, you're guilty of breaking this command of not murdering. Verbal abuse makes one liable for eternal damnation, according to what Jesus was just saying to us. So, very, very intense. And the term for hell here that Jesus is using is called Gehenna. And it's the Valley Hinnom. It was a trash dump outside Jerusalem where fires burned constantly. And it was also notorious as a location of human sacrifices by fire during the reigns of Ahaz and Manasseh in 2 Chronicles. Jeremiah called it the Valley of Slaughter, and it was used as a symbol of God's judgment. So imagine you're a disciple of Jesus. You're seeing Jesus. You're watching him. You're listening to him say these words, and you could see the smoke from this fire just outside the city. It rang true to you. It cut deep. Jesus is saying, even if you talk to someone in anger and insult them intentionally, you are guilty of murder. Whoa. So how does this apply to us today? And I hope you see how it applies to us today. We live in a culture where, we cry freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is great. Don't get me wrong. Freedom of speech is fantastic. But it doesn't mean we're immune from the consequences of that speech. As Christians, we can't go around insulting people. We can call into question their judgment, but in hate and malice, we can't slander them. We can't gossip about them. Jesus is telling us that is the equivalent of murder. We're murdering their character. So it's more than shedding blood. God bless you guys. Thank you for joining me on this edition of the Daily Bible Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy the show, please share it. Please rate it. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you.